This thing is so tiny.
What's going on? Hello everybody and welcome to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. I popped on just a couple of minutes early. We're going to wait for some more people to join us. Hope you are having a fabulous Wednesday back from vacation, doing fantastic. Did I go live last week? When did we get back? We got back this past week, didn't we?
No clue.
Corinne is with me on the opposite side of the studio. Oh, man. Hope you are doing well. Gonna wait for some more folks to pop on here in just a second. Let's see. Make sure we are good to go. Hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Hope you're having a fabulous, fabulous Wednesday. Let me know in the chat session. Post a hello or whatnot if you haven't done so already. We are going to be making a layout today. This one is really fun. I've got a large photo that I'm going to be working with. Hey, Susan, what's going on? Just hello from North Carolina. Hey, Susan. Going to be doing a 12 by 12 layout with a very large photo that I sized and printed, or actually I sized and photoshopped. I'm also going to be using my Felicity Jane, or elements from my Felicity Jane mega kit that I made before I went on vacation. So if you didn't catch that live, make sure that you do. Alrighty, gonna wait for a few more folks to pop on. Let's see, there we go. All right, I think I'm getting comments a little bit delayed. I'm gonna hang out for just a second. Hello, hello, everybody who's joining us. Hello, make sure you pop in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Seeing a slight delay, so hopefully that won't mess us up too bad. Hey, Melissa, what's going on? What is going on? There we go. Starting to see some more people pop in. So glad that you guys are here. If you're new to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. When you do, click the bell. That way you'll be notified each and every time new content is posted. And when I go live here on this channel, we hang out every Wednesday at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time for about 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes a little bit longer. Are you okay over there?
I'm dying.
Okay.
I'm dying.
We've got our creative coordinator here with us. She's working on a mini house kit right now.
Tiny books.
Making tiny books.
Little books and folding tiny pages.
Folding little tiny papers. There we go. Hello, hello, everybody. So glad that you're here. Just going to hang out for a few more minutes. Oh, man. So, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, I'm going to be working with some Felicity Jane goodies. I posted a link down below. If you want to check out the Felicity Jane shop, make sure that you do. If you're not familiar with the products, Felicity Jane does some beautiful, gorgeous products that are typically muted colors, very modern design, works well for any project if you like that type of thing. Also, they feature, not as much as they used to, but there's some floral elements, some black and white, just some really beautiful, beautiful products. I've been a long-time customer of Felicity Jane, so I love using their products. Absolutely love it. Also, during this live, if you like what you see, make sure you hit that thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you are enjoying the live. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Melissa and Lisa. I forgot the comments are kind of scrolling up like slowly. So if I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry. Jennifer, Beatrice, Gemma, Barb, and Deb. Hello, everybody. Hey, Gloria. Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Barb says, hello, everyone from soggy Detroit. It must be raining there. We have kind of had here in Texas kind of on and off rain forecast. It was like it rained a little bit and then they said it was going to continue to rain and then it doesn't and the sun comes out. So who knows? I've got to spend this weekend pulling up some dead bushes out of my front yard. So that's going to be fun. That's me and Bree are going to be venturing into that part of home ownership. So that should be interesting. Speaking of, Aubrey just joined us. She's going to be moderating the chat. She says hi from downstairs because her office is downstairs. That's where she is tuning in from to help moderate the chat. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started with today's project. So let me know in the chat section if you like to use large photos on a scrapbook page. And when I'm talking about large photos, I'm thinking 5x7 and larger. Today, and make sure you post that in the chat, let me know if you like using large photos. Today I'm going to be using a photo that's roughly 6x12 inches. I'm going to tell you how I got my photo to be that big. This year I told myself that I was going to learn how to use Photoshop. And Photoshop gives you the ability to do a lot of things with photography. I'm super novice, and I'm only interested in learning the techniques for the things that I want to do. So creating photos in various different sizes, you could do that with some free resources or low-cost resources like Canva and PicMonkey. But to get really good quality, I wanted to learn how to use Photoshop. And I'm sure there's probably other programs out there that are a little bit more user-friendly than Photoshop. But that was my challenge this year, is I wanted to learn how to use it. And so I saw a layout maybe a couple of years ago that featured a super large photo. And then I believe it was Ali Edwards who was showing some pages from her Project Life album where she was using large 12x12 photos. So I do have a large format printer. I have a Canon, they call it the Crafters All-in-One printer. It's always sold out. And I think I've talked about that in previous lives. But it is a large format printer, and it prints up to, I think, 13 inches by 14 inches or something like that. So it's a really, really large printer. And so I decided for this layout, I'm going to test it out and see how it works on a very large photo. So let me know, what do you like using large photos on a scrapbook page larger than 5x7 and up? Barb says that she's used large photos 5x7 and 8x10. I like making pages with them. Me too. Absolutely. I've done a few layouts where I've had 8x10 photos for sure, certainly 5x7. Lisa says she doesn't typically use large photos. Let me know in the chat if you like using large photos on your scrapbook pages. I'm going to go ahead and flip to my desktop so you can see the photo that I'm going to be working with. So let me switch that real quick like. There we go, and that should be popping up on the screen any moment. And this story, this layout is going to be called My Turn. You won't see the journaling just yet because I need to sit down with the journaling and just kind of figure it out just a little bit. It's kind of a special story. And here we go. Let's see. Melissa says 5x7 is the biggest she'll go. However, I did do an album of all of my daughter's 8x10 school pics for her graduation party. It's very simple since there wasn't much room to embellish. Absolutely, that's a really cool project. Cindy's made several with 5x7s. Gemma has the Epson one that Allie has. It's amazing for big photos. Yes, it is not a cheap printer, but it is a really, really good printer for sure. Wendy says depends what she's scrapbooking about. Not so much on travel layouts, but like them when she's doing people layouts. Love large photo layouts. Me too, Claire. Hey, Casey, what's going on? She loves scrapping with large photos. Hey, Miriam. Love large photos, like 5x7, maybe 2 more smaller ones. Yes. Hey, Melanie, what's going on? Only use large photos for specific pics. I go as big as 8x10. I'm the same way too. I use it for specific ones when I want it to be a big statement on a layout. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Large photo, big statement on this spread. So I have this photo of my mom and I holding hands, and recently we were at JCPenney's doing a return. And as I mentioned before, she has some mobility issues, and so on that particular day she wasn't feeling that well. And so I was holding her hand as we're walking through the store. And it's these moments that I like to take a picture of. I've been documenting a lot more about my caregiving experience and her care receiving experience, because these are memories and things that I want to make sure that I can look back on years from now. And so I snapped a photo of us holding hands as we were walking. And so I was thinking about this layout, and I didn't feel that this particular photo needed to be small. Like, I could have done like a 4x6 and just had our hands in the photo, but I wanted it bigger. I wanted it more dramatic. So I went into Photoshop. I created a 6 by 12. I don't know what they would call it. I'm going to call it a spread. I'm not very well versed in all things Photoshop, so I'm just going to call it a spread or landscape or whatever you call it. There is a feature on there that allows you to insert a spot for a photo. And so I insert the photo, it adjusted the photo size accordingly, and then I changed the color to black and white because I feel that sometimes with deeper stories, taking the color away from the photo, just making it black and white is super impactful. My idea is to take a piece of 12 by 12 pattern paper, and this is from my Felicity Jane Mega Kit, which, by the way, if you missed that live, make sure you go back. It should be in my live playlist, or you can just go on my YouTube channel. Before I went on vacation, I did a huge Mega Kit, which basically is all of my Felicity Jane kits that I've received recently. I put into one kit so I can work from it, so make sure you check that out. So I pulled this tone-on-tone stripe pattern paper, which I think would work fabulous with this. And on one side of the layout is going to be the photo. Then I'm going to have a title here, and I'm going to leave some space for some journaling, and I'm going to do that off camera. And I'm also going to fill in some of this white space here with some flowers that I fussy cut. Aubrey is saying the largest she'll go is 15 feet by 30 feet. That's mainly for my murals or graffiti, as the police have taken... Babe, as the police have taken to call them. Thank you for offering that, Aubrey. Your largest you'll go is 15 feet by 30 feet. That's awesome, sweetie. Love that. Thank you, Barb. I love this photo too. Yes, the photo is super powerful, which is why I wanted to make it big. Anytime that you want to emphasize or really document a powerful story, going larger on the photo and less on the embellishing allows you to focus more on the story. One of the things I wanted to do was print the journaling here on the pattern paper, which I didn't do before this video. But what I am going to do is I'm going to have a nice block, a text block here, to say what it is that I want to say. Aubrey is already starting her antics, and we're not even 20 minutes into this thing. Deb says she's made a few 12 by 12 photo layouts. Archivers used to give a coupon for free prints. I love them. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that about Archivers. Thank you for comments on the pic. So anyway, so I decided that I'm going to put the photo over to the right hand side so that our hands are facing into the photo versus putting it here where we're facing away from the layout. I mean, the hands are facing into the layout versus away from the layout. I could have also put it here in the middle and could have done something cool, but I kind of like it over here. Now, to kind of break this up a little bit, I'm going to add in another piece of pattern paper from my Felicity Jane Mega Kit. And for those of you who watched the live, I put all the pattern papers into this Scrapbook.com pocket. I think this measures like a little bit over 12 by 12. Perfect for pattern paper. So all those remaining pattern papers that I had from those leftover kits, I put into this pocket. So I reached in, grabbed a scrap piece of this yellow paper, and I think what I'm going to do, I might trim it down some more, but I want just a little bit of it showing. I'll probably definitely trim down some more so I can preserve it. So I have a little bit of a point of delineation between the photo and the pattern paper. So let's go ahead and commit to that. Just going to cut a little bit more of that pattern paper off, and then we'll get to adhering the photo. I don't want to cut too terribly much of it off, so I want to make sure I have some left to adhere. Okay, I'm going to stick this right back into my pocket because then I can use this on another project. I keep all the scraps and the whole pieces of paper right here in this pocket. Okay, so now that that's done, let's, before I put this all together, let me show you what else I'm working with here. So I have my tray of embellishments. I have these super large, thin letters. These are die cuts. And this is from the Felicity Jane Tori kit, large die cut alpha. And I'm going to use this to spell the word turn because the title of this layout is called My Turn. And I'll explain why that is here in just a second. So I have those letters, and I thought I would pair that with this letter sticker I've had forever. This is from the Jamie kit from 2019. So this has been a couple of years ago. And I like pairing different fonts together to create a layout, to create a title, because it adds a whole lot of interest to it. Okay, so I'll be using those for the title. Then I've got some of these really pretty butterflies. These are vellum layered butterflies, and they already have stitching. I love these type of elements because the hard work is already done for you. So all that nice little detail with the stitching and stuff, already done. Don't even have to do that myself. I got a couple of labels here and a ticket. These are all from various different collections. I also have some tags. I think this came in the last kit, but I can't remember, that I'm going to use for a layering element. Then I took a piece of the scrap floral pattern paper from the Tori kit. This isn't the first time that I've cut into this pattern paper. And I wanted to have some larger elements on here that are going to go on the white space of the layout. And you're going to see what I mean here in just a second. So all I did was fussy cut these large flowers out. Every time that I have a large pattern paper like this, I like to cut the images out. I'm typically not going to use it in its entirety, so it becomes fodder for embellishments and other design elements on a scrapbook page. So I'm just going to slip that right back in there. I still got a bunch of flowers on there that I can use for other projects. All right, so that's what I'm working with, and then I have some other little things that I might pop in here. But at least this is the start. Now, the cool thing about using doing a layout that has a large photo is that you don't have to worry a whole lot about embellishing. And of course I run out of tape, right? It just never fails. I just ran out of tape. You don't have to do a whole bunch of embellishing. You can do some simple embellishing, and because the photo is the focal point, not the embellishing. And whether you're using a 5x7, an 8x10, or some other size photo, you can let the embellishing relax a little bit as you focus on the photo. Let me grab another little tape situation here. Always seem to run out whenever I'm working. Okay, let's see what I got here. Go in my little adhesive container. There we go. All right, crisis averted. I'm gonna fill that back up with some more refills. Okay. I keep my adhesive supply next to me really close for moments like that. Okay, so now I've got the yellow piece of pattern paper, which is going to act as a point of delineation between the photo in this blue pattern paper. And now let's go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of the photo and get that taped down. This also makes for a pretty quick layout composition when you're using larger photos. Now you can send your photos out to be printed large like this. You can print them at home if you have a large format printer. You can usually get a large format printer. They don't cost as much as well, it depends. I take that back. It depends really on the manufacturer and the printer. The last large format printer I got before the one that I have now was about less than $200. And the problem that I had with that printer, it wasn't the printer, it was user error, is that I was using off-brand ink and it ruined the printer. So I make the investment to buy on-brand ink because that's printer ink, because that's very important. Alrighty, so now I am ready to just do some simple embellishing. I've got my photo here, and notice I have a ton of white space in this area. You can leave the white space clearly in these large photos, and sometimes I purposely leave white space. And by white space, I mean not necessarily that the space on the layout or on the photo is white, it's just open space where you don't have anything. So you can see here, there's a lot of white space here at the top, the clothes rack and all of that. This would be perfect to add like journaling or even a title if I wanted to kind of make that pop. It's okay to actually plop things on your photo. I usually will not do that with original photos, like if I have a photo from a 35mm roll of camera or something older, a vintage photo that I'm scrapbooking family or whatnot, then I will take a digital copy of that photo and scrapbook it. I tend to not scrapbook original photos. But on a photo like this that I just created, I'm okay to add things on top. And in fact, we're going to do that. Love the pattern paper for sure. Okay. Gemma says, yep, not going to risk cheap ink for my fancy printer. Exactly. I learned my lesson the hard way. That was almost a $200 that was a $200 mistake that I made for sure. Okay, so what am I going to fill this white space with? So here are these little die cuts that I made, just simply fussy cutting flowers from that pattern paper. And what I want to do, I was focused when I was cutting this out on the images on the pattern paper that had a straight edge. So typically that's going to be the image that's going to come off the side of the pattern paper. So let me go ahead and grab this. So this flower was probably cut somewhere either on this side or this side. I kind of chomp it into the paper, which is, you know, what you're supposed to do, right? Use your paper. So what I want to do is I want to position this flower over here. And what that does is it covers up that clothing rack, but it also gives a little bit more pop to the layout, and the focal point is not on this space up here. It's now on what I want it to be on, which is the hands of me and my mother, okay? Now, because I did a floral cluster up here, I'm going to go ahead and move down here diagonal, and I'm going to put a floral cluster right down here. Again, when I cut that paper, cut this image out, I wanted to make sure it was like on an edge, so that made it really easy for me to position that. And look how pretty that is. It's just really gorgeous. Now, of course, you guys know I love to layer. So I have another flower that I'll probably put like maybe over here or something, or maybe, I'm not sure yet, maybe right here. And then I'll add some dimension to that. And that gives me a nice diagonal flow. And what happens now is the eye is going to flow either from the bottom to the top of the page or to the top to the bottom. But either way, you're not going to miss the hands, right? Because that's the focal point. Now, I have these tags here that I wanted to layer in. And with the Felicity Jane kit, amongst all these gorgeous muted colors, she pops in bits of black and white. So whenever you want just sort of a grounding palette to the colors that you're using, whether it's your primary colors, more muted colors, bright bold colors, you can pop in black and white, and for whatever reason, it helps sort of ground those colors a bit. And so they have tons of black and white in their kits. So I think what I want to do is put this tag right here, just like that. And then this tag, I'm going to chop off at the bottom, but I'm going to put it here as a layering element, bringing in that black and white. And see how sleek that looks? Plus, the photo is black and white. So that just works very well together. So I'm going to actually get these layered in. I'm trying to decide, do I want to add some twine? Yes, I do. Hold on just a second. Let me grab some twine real quick. Let me get... Alright, so my favorite go-to is black and white twine. Let me know if you have any questions about this specific design or not. Also notice there's not going to be a ton of embellishing on this, guys. It's just going to be a little bit of embellishing because the focal point is not the embellishing. The focal point is the photo, right? Alright, so I'm going to take this tag. You can do so many fun things with tags. I just met with one of my patrons. I do private sessions with my patrons. Or that private session opportunity is available for patrons, by the way. So if you're interested in becoming a patron, if you support me at the coaching level, then you can get one-on-ones with me, and I can help you with a variety of scrapbooking and design troubleshooting things. But one of the things that she and I talked about was using tags, and she has a ton of tags that she wanted to use, and so we went over ideas for tags. And one of the things that I love using tags for is anchoring embellishments, creating anchored embellishments. So you can't quite see it, but it does add a little bit of fiber there. I probably could have used white on that versus black and white, but that's cool too. We're just going to go with it. So anyway, so using tags as an anchor for embellishments is fantastic. Now, do you have to go out and buy a whole bunch of tags? No, you can make them. In any design, really. I'm sure we all have some tools that we can use to make tags. Just, you know, cardstock and scissors, you're good to go. All right, doesn't take, not that hard. But if you have lots of tags in your stash, you can use them as anchoring elements versus just for journaling, right? I think some people just use tags for journaling. You may use tags for other things. I like using them for embellishments. All right, so add just a tiny bit of adhesive behind the tag. I'm just going to wrap this twine around. Another idea is, if those of you who are handy with a sewing machine, if you like hand stitching, you can add that element to it. Aubrey got my sewing machine fixed for me for Mother's Day, which was very sweet of her. So I am actually going to be working on next month using my sewing machine a whole lot more for a variety of things, but mainly for scrapbooking purposes. So hopefully I'll be able to pull, I call my sewing machine Dorothy. So I'll pull Dorothy out and see if she's up for the challenge. Okay, so got a little bit of fiber there that adds some interest to the tags. Now let's get ready to layer. So I'm going to put down this flower that's going to go behind here, using that pattern paper in an interesting way, right? Using our supplies. Cut into that pattern paper. Don't get it and hoard it. I know a lot of you probably hoard your pattern paper. I do. I'm preaching to the choir here. What I want to do with this one is I want to pop it up, but I first want to make sure I have my tag in place. I'm going to add some adhesive there. Get my tag in place. Yes, it's okay to put things on top of your photos, because why not? Scrapbooking is an art, so, you know, why not? I'm just going to put that tag there. And then what I want to do to add some interest and some dimension is I'm going to pop up that floral cluster right there with some foam. I forgot to get my foam out before I started. No, never hoarding anymore. That's right, Cindy. No more hoarding. No more hoarding. For those of you who are interested in the Victoria Marie Patreon, Aubrey has posted a link directly to my Patreon page. It's a great way to support Victoria Marie Designs. There's 5 different benefit levels, so you can join whatever level feels comfortable for you, starting at $5 a month. I just posted a brand new process video. You can get access to a library of videos, not only the ones that I post recently, but also the back catalog of videos as well. So if you're interested in that, it's a great way to support Victoria Marie Designs. I will be very, 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 very grateful to you. I just made some changes to what I'm offering there on that platform to make it more engaging, and for patron members to get a lot more time with me in terms of creative education. Depending on the level that you subscribe at, we have quarterly Zooms where we get together and just scrapbook and have fun. I also have 2 educational components. One is a monthly creative, I call them creative live workshops, where we talk about a specific topic in scrapbooking, and we make projects based off of that in real time, which is a lot of fun. And then that starts at the $10 level. And then we have what I call critique group. Actually, that was not an original idea to me. I saw another creative do this and I thought it was fantastic, where once a month we get together and we ask questions and critique each other's work in a very positive and supportive way. And we had our first one before I went on vacation, and it was super fun. And everyone was, we got to look at each other's work and offer suggestions and that type of thing. So that's super fun. So if you're interested in that type of thing, that's what we're doing over at the Victoria Marie Patreon group. There's also a private Facebook group where we can share things. So yeah, I feel like that particular platform is continuing to grow and change and morph into the creative education component, that extension of what I do here at Victoria Marie Design. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want that one-on-one, that more close engagement, well, not one-on-one all the time, but most close engagement with me, consider become a patron. There's a link in the description down below as well. Cindy says she's using the June Patreon sketch to do a layout for Pride Month. That's fantastic. Hey, bevies, what's going on? Okay, so notice, look how pretty that is. With the layered cluster and then the tag, I'm going to add a couple of more things to that. But adding just a little bit of dimension gives that a lot of depth. And then adding some fiber gives that a little bit more interest there too. Okay? All right, so like I said, because I added this floral element, I could leave it like that and it's fine too. But we're going to balance it out by adding another one down here. Again, just cut that from some pattern paper. It's just so elegant and beautiful. I'm going to put this tag right underneath it. So I'm going to adhere that down, but I'm also going to trim it at the bottom. There we go. I'm just going to use the line here for this stripe as my guide. All right, so now let's go ahead and do a nice little trimmy trim. Matches my blouse. This is Cindy. This is actually a dress. So I have a whole dress. This doesn't have pockets though. But I do. I have some florals in my dress. I do. It's one of my favorite dresses. Okay, so I've got that down. Now what I want to do, again, to add some dimension is I want to pop up this floral element. Now, when I'm not using a ton of embellishments on a layout, I do like to play up the dimension, because that gives a whole lot of interest to the project. So I'm just using, again, some Scrapbook.com adhesive, foam adhesive. It's my favorite. I'm going to be filming a favorites video soon that I'm going to have here on the YouTube channel. So you guys, I always get questions about products that I like to use, so I'm going to make sure to share that with you. Okay, so I have a little bit of foam here, and that's going to pop that up and give that some dimension. And I'm just using the florals that I fussy cut from my pattern paper, right? Great technique for those of you who don't have a large stash, or if you're looking for something a little different to do. Fussy cutting is where it's at. It's a technique that never gets old. Okay, so I'm just going to position that right down there. Gorgeous. Now, I'm going to pop just a small little something there underneath that leaf so it doesn't fall. Hello, everyone who's just joined us. Hey, Janet. Hey, Maria. Thank you so much. She's loving the collection and the layout. Thank you so much. There we go. Okay. So I've got that continuity there between the tags and the florals. By the way, I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but we've got our HOA out that's mowing the common area. So I do apologize for that. If you can hear that mowing, that's what that sound is. Okay, so now it's time to come in with the remaining of the... Oh, actually, no, we're going to do the title. Let's do the title before we finish this out. So, you remember those big, large letters that I talked about? Those are going to go right here. And I was going to spell the title My Turn using just all of these large letters. But the problem with that is that it would have taken up too much space and I wouldn't have any room for my journaling. So my journaling is going to go here. I'll probably print it on vellum. That's kind of like my go-to thing these days. And I am just going to slightly bop these up and down so that they stay where I need them to be. Or that they have enough space, rather, I should say. Look how bold that is. Alrighty. Then I have enough space up here to put the word my. So the title is My Turn. And what I mean by that is, you know, our mothers, those of us who have mothers, mother figures in our lives, spend a lot of time and effort taking care of us. And if we're lucky, we can return the favor, if they so need it as they age, to take care of them. And that is what I'm doing at this point in my life as a caregiver. And it is both a humbling and challenging experience for sure, but it's also an honor. I'm using a little bit of this Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. This is some of my favorite liquid glue. So if you were to ask me what my favorite is, it's this. It's the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. And I like it because it comes with a tip that you can use for doing this type of work when you need to get into some detail gluing. Hey, Corin, how are you? So glad that you're here. Thanks so much. Okay. A couple weeks ago, I was on Corin's Craftcast. So if you haven't checked that out, be sure that you do. Hope you're doing well, girl. Alrighty. So I'm just kind of making sure I'm getting these in the right spot where I need it. I also like using liquid glue. One of the main reasons is that it's a little bit forgiving. It doesn't dry as quickly. And so you can move things around if you need to. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue behind these thin cardstock letters. And each letter is a different color, which coordinates nice. I also use different colors because I didn't have all of the same color in all the letters. But it adds some interest to the layout. So there we go. All right, let's get the T going. These are super thin and they're really big. I think they're what? Maybe 2 inches tall, 3 inches tall? Let me see. I'll measure it. All right, so I'm just going to pop my T there. Just like that. It's a little bit higher than this is why I like using the liquid glue. It's a little bit higher than the R, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be picky. I just want it all to fit on one line. Okay, this Barely Art Precision Glue comes with a pin and it doesn't rust, which is fantastic. So you can just stick that right back in there if you can see it. Oh boy, there we go. Okay, so there's that. Alrighty, so space for my journaling, which I'll do off camera. I'm going to bring in the Felicity Jane Jamie fonts. This is from a couple of years ago. And spell out the word my. Again, using black. Such a juxtaposition between the sizes there. Of the fonts. These are a black puffy sticker. They kind of feel like leather, like a leatherette. There we go. How editorial is this? This looks like it can be in a page from a magazine, right? And that's kind of what my thought was when I was doing this. Harriet, yes, I can put the name of the glue in the description. I'll post a link there for you. No problem. Corin, I had a fantastic vacation. Thank you so much. The vacation was fabulous. Wendy says, I'm doing some caretaking for my parents right now. Thanks for reminding me that it's an honor. It is. It's challenging, though, and it's complicated. I think for those of us who are caregivers and also have been in the care receiving position of the caregiving dynamic, it is complicated. It's a complicated emotion of feeling honored to be able to care for someone, whether it's a parent, a child, another relative, a friend even, and also too dealing with all the realities that come with it. And so I really feel that I wouldn't do the stories that I'm telling justice if I didn't talk about the good, bad, and the ugly in all this. This just happened to be more of an emotional, like really tuning into the fact that the roles have switched slightly, you know? So I want to make sure that I scrapbook that, and I encourage other people to do that. Maria says, I need to join your Patreon. Yes, please. Yes, please. If you need some help. And that's what, for those of you who've been with me on Patreon for a while, or even if you're new, I'm shifting Patreon away from it just being a place where I post a whole lot of videos, because I found that's not what people want. People are wanting help, or assistance, or ideas and inspiration, and to be able to have a place where they can work out all of their work out the creative troubleshooting and really take scrapbooking to a next level. So if that's something you're interested in, that's what I'm shifting Patreon to. So a lot of creative education and support there. So if that's something you're interested in, please come join us. We'd love to have you. Nice to hear your heart perspective. Thank you, Deb. Slowly relying more on my children as my body gets worse. Chronic illness. I'm only 52 and it's hard to come to terms with it. No, Deb, that's absolutely fine. You know, not too personal to share at all. And honestly, there's probably others as well in our community who are experiencing similar or have experienced a similar thing. And I think through us sharing, it helps us to connect and not feel so isolated and alone in our own personal experiences. So thank you so much for sharing that, Deb. And it's great that your children are supporting you as all these things are happening. Alrighty, so I'm liking how this is looking so far. I thought about doing some kind of stamped sentiment under here to kind of like a subtitle, but I'm looking through my stamp sets. Now this isn't by far the only Felicity Jane stamp sets I have. I've been subscribing to Felicity Jane for several years now. So I have lots of stamp sets, some that I've recently given away. Here's one that says Life Right Now. That might work. Life Right Now, all the feels, but I don't know, that sounds a little cheesy, but I think Life Right Now, this moment, what life looks like, everyday moments, real life. Let me test some of these out. This is from the Mari kit, the stamp set from this year, actually. So I was thinking about putting a little stamp sentiment right here. Maybe what life looks like. And then I can go into my journaling. I think I might do that. There's also these blocks here that you can use to stamp either over the sentiment, or you can create a little die cut with a sentiment on it. I love stamp sets that kind of get to the heart of the story, right? Not everything is, you know, hello, and this is fun, and blah, blah, blah. You know, sometimes it's just, you know, real life. I think that'll look super editorial. Okay, so let me grab a block. I don't know about you guys, but I have a whole box of blocks. Anyone else have a box of blocks? I do. Lots of acrylic blocks, because I do a lot of stamping for various projects. But you gotta have multiples, right? You gotta have more than one. If you're new to scrapbooking, ignore me. I'll have you spending money like crazy. All right. I'm going to use some VersaFine Black Onyx ink. This is fantastic for those detailed stamps. And this is one of them. This has a typefaced font. You usually don't have to prep a Felicity Jane stamp. It's a super high quality photopolymer stamp. I'm going to use the lines here on this pattern paper. Excuse the fro. I'm going to get that lined up. And I'm glad I went with that. That looks super editorial. Love that. Love it, love it. I'm going to clean off my stamp with my stamp chamois. And I'm going to put it immediately back because I've been stamping lately and I've been losing my stamps because I'm not putting them back where they need to go, or misplacing them and looking forever for my stamps. All right, so this is the Mari stamp set from Felicity Jane. I posted a general link to Felicity Jane if you want to shop Felicity Jane. It is an affiliate link, by the way, which is totally free for you, but it helps support Victoria Marie Designs, which I totally appreciate. Okay, so my acrylic blocks go back in their box. And we're good there. Looking fantastic. Let's go ahead and do some finishing elements, and then we will be done. So I have this little ticket here with a heart and XOXO. And I think I'm going to put it like maybe right here. Then I have this blue label. I actually don't know why I pulled this blue label out, to be honest with you. I don't know what I was going to use this for. Was I going to layer it here? No. I actually don't know why I pull this out? Was I going to use it here? No? Nope. Nope. I don't know why I pulled that out. Anyway, I'm going to put a butterfly here. Did I have this up here? I can't remember now. I had this all planned out, and now I don't remember how I was going to do it. Maybe this was going to be here. Ah, now I don't remember how I did it. Okay. I know I wanted a butterfly. Maybe this was going to go here. You know how you plan out a layout and then you don't know where you're going to put your elements at? That's kind of the moment I'm having right now. Was that going to go there? Ay, 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 Victoria. Okay, I know there's a butterfly that's supposed to go there, for sure. Maybe I don't want that there now. For some reason, anytime that I scrapbook with flowers, I like using butterflies. Okay, maybe a smaller scale one. Or maybe it was the blue one. Now I'm trying to remember what I was doing. Good grief, Victoria. Let me know if you experience the same problem. You have, you know, best laid intentions, and then you put it down, and it's like, wait a minute, what was I supposed to be doing here? Okay, maybe it was that. Then I was going to put one here. And one here. Because it was going to be like super whimsical. Yeah. Maybe I pulled these out thinking I was going to use them. But, okay, I don't know. I don't know what the plan was. So we're just going to put these down because I don't remember what the plan was. But I'm happy with how this is turning out. So I'm going to put this butterfly here. Just kind of like, you know, she's kind of hovering. Just a little bit. Then this one's going to go up here. These are vellum butterflies and they have stitching in the middle. And they're beautiful. They're so pretty. I just want it to look like the butterfly is just gently laying on the flower. And then this one here. Just real gentle. Right there on the photo. Let me make sure I don't have a clump of adhesive. That's one of my not sticky, well, tape is sticky, clearly, but one of my pet peeves about adhesive is getting an adhesive clump behind like a piece of vellum or something like that, and then it shows through and then it looks stupid. All right, let's fix that up. Let's get our little gum tool here. I'm gonna take a little bit of that off so that it's not all gunky. You can get this at a craft and hobby store. It's just basically a little rubber little tool here that you can get adhesive off with. Okay, did I get all of it? Nope. Ay, ay, ay. It's always at the end when stuff like this happens, right? Okay, I think I'm good. I'm gonna stick that here. Pop up the little butterfly, and you can make your own vellum butterflies, right? If you have a die or a punch or something, you know. That looks like a magazine cover or a page of some sort. So for now, this page is 99.9% done. And what I will do is put in the journaling. I'm going to type it. I could have pre-typed the journal or typed the journaling and just went ahead and printed it out on the 12 by 12 background because I do have a large format printer, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time when I was prepping this layout. So here we go, completed layout minus the journaling. I'm also going to make sure that I put the date on here, but I love how the photo is king on this page. It is the big focal point. So if you are hesitant about using large photos on a scrapbook page, don't be. If you are trying to learn how to use your large format printer or trying to use software like Photoshop or others to enlarge or do different things with your photos, take some time out and learn that technology because it makes creating so much fun. I'm at a point now where I really, really am desperate to do new things, different things, try different stuff out. And with my storytelling, especially for those of you who've been scrapbooking as long as me or longer than me, I've been scrapbooking for almost 16 years now. I'm always looking for something new to try or just a different take on the things that I'm already doing. So doing more layouts with large photos is like kind of my jam. I'm also going to use this same concept for some videos that I'm making about catching up on project life. And I'm putting catching up in air quotes because I don't feel that scrapbooking is really about catching up. Like, we're always telling stories, and there's some stories that we will revisit and go back to, and some stories that we won't ever tell. But with my project life, I wanted a streamlined way so that if I've gotten a little bit ahead of myself and I haven't really been documenting stories, that I can use something like large format photo printing and to do something creative where I can create summary pages. So stay tuned for that. I have that on my list of videos that I'm creating in July, and I can't wait to share that with you because I know some other people are probably in the same boat as I am. You let some weeks get in front of you and you haven't really been keeping up. But the same concept can apply to any other project. But for this project in particular, notice how, again, the photo is the focal point, and that's what I wanted to be, the photo and the story. That's what I wanted. Corin says, yes, Canva is a really good one to try for large photo printing. In fact, on Canva, and I've been using Canva and PicMonkey forever, but in Canva and in PicMonkey, you can select your photo size. You can select a size that you can pop your photo in. You don't need any skills like Photoshop or whatnot. I'm just teaching myself Photoshop because there's some things that I want to do beyond what, say, a Canva or Photo or PicMonkey can do and others. But Canva is excellent, and I believe it's free. If you have a paid subscription like me, then it unlocks other features, but you can do a lot of stuff with their free-based platform. I'm so glad that you guys like it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Let me go. I could put the date on the label if I wanted to add the label on here, but just deciding where I was going to put the label. But the date's going to go on here somewhere. And if I feel like the date doesn't work on the front of the page, I will flip over the layout and I'll put the date on the back. So at least I know what album to put it in. And if I need to know, remember what the date is, it's stamped on the back of the layout. So the date will go on the layout in some way. I use butterflies on my layouts quite often. You know, Christina, I love butterflies, and I tend to go to butterflies when I'm talking about myself or there's changes or something like that. I think butterflies are very symbolic of that. Aubrey says, lots of caretakers here today. Yep. Remember to take care of yourself. You know, Aubrey, that's something that she tells me that all the time. Self-care, time alone, mindfulness, maintaining your hobbies, etc. Absolutely. Aubrey tells me that all the time, to take care of myself. In fact, we remind each other to take care of ourselves because we're quite busy and have a lot of things going on. And sometimes we neglect taking care of ourselves. So definitely if you're a caretaker, you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Caregiver, I guess. So excellent advice from a very sage Aubrey Calvin. Thank you, baby. Joyce says, sometimes I plan it and roughly lay it out and take a picture on my cell. Then I can refer to that as I glue it all down. Yeah, exactly. I used to do that a lot too, take a picture of the layout. Or I make a sketch of the layout and then I'm starting to create and then I, don't pay attention to to the sketch. Let's see. Hey, Kathy, what's going on? She says, I can't scrap unless it gives me joy, so I skip around in time for photos. Yeah, I'm not chronological either. I scrapbook whatever feels good at the time. Thank you so much for the comments on the layout. I will make sure once I have the journaling added to post it to Instagram, which, by the way, I'm making some changes to the Victoria Marie blog. The blog is just going to transition to a website, and I'm not going to have the blog feature there because I don't get as much readership there. I get a whole lot more engagement on Instagram. So if you want to see my work, make sure you head on over to Instagram, follow me on Instagram, and then I'm also going to be posting a whole lot more to Pinterest as well. So I'll make sure to post all that information as I'm like making a flurry of updates this summer. There still is going to be a static platform for Victoria Marie Designs, but the blog is just not getting as much readership as it used to. So I'm going to be switching some things up with that, but I'll still have a spot where you can see my finished work. One of the things I wanted to point out is I do have a ton of white space here left on the photo, and that is purposely done because, again, I want the eye to be drawn to why I enlarged the photo, which is the holding of the hands. So if you're doing something like this and you feel like you need to add more, take a step back because 9 times out of 10, you don't need to add anything else. Let that space, that open white space, again, it's not always white, it's just empty space. You can let it be what it is without feeling like you need to fill it up with stuff. Alrighty, let me go to the chat. Let me know if you have any questions before we end today. Beautiful layout. Oh, with so much emotion. Thank you, Connie. I appreciate that. I think this one turned out great. I'm starting to kind of get back into scrapbooking and, or at least after vacation, making things. I hadn't made anything in a while. It's been super busy, so this felt really good to be able to do this design and feed my need to do a little something different. Alrighty, couple of things before we finish up. If you haven't already, make sure you hit, let me go to my little thing here and transition back. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. When you do, click the bell. That way you'll be notified each and every time a new video or when I go live comes up here. Oh, by the way, if you didn't check out my last video, I was a part of a hop with Becky Adams in honor of her son Austin, who passed away a couple of years ago due to an undiagnosed medical condition. We did a scrapbooking and reading blog hop, and it was a lot of fun. And right now they are collecting donations of books for Austin's school. It was something that was started a year after his passing by a family friend or maybe a family member. So I do have a link. That's the video that's before this live. So if you want to check that out, please do. You can visit Becky Adams online as well as on Instagram, where she talks a whole lot about how you can get involved in that. So I just wanted to point that in there in little Austin's memory. So if you're not subscribed here to this channel, make sure you do click the bell so you'll be notified each and every time I post a new video. There's going to be new content coming out, so stay tuned for that. And by the way, because I talked about it today, if you're interested in becoming a Victoria Marie Patreon, make sure you head on down to the description box. Links and information are posted there. You can click on that, learn more about the 5 patron tiers that I have available. If you want to do more of that engagement, learning, creative learning, develop and hone your skills, that's the place to be, because that's a lot of what I'm doing on that platform, and it's a great way to support Victoria Marie Designs, and totally appreciate it. All right, next Wednesday, I think I have another project using my Felicity Jane Mega Kit. If you want to see how I put that kit together, go back into, I think I did the live before I went on vacation, so it's here on my channel. Lots of goodies that I used. Hey. Here's my mega kit. Here's part of it, and then here's the paper. So if you want to see how that came together, make sure you check that out. Get some inspiration to make your own mega kits out of the kits and things that you have available. Maybe I should do a challenge of some sort for that. I might issue a challenge, a summer challenge to make, mega kits. So anyway, I'm going to be doing another project using the Felicity J Mega Kit, and then I think the week after that, I'm going to hop back to my Hot Springs travel album that I started, I guess it was last year. We went to Hot Springs, and I haven't finished it, and it's on my list of projects to finish this year, so I'm going to hop back to that project. And then at the end of July, I'm going to be doing a live, am I doing more Hot Springs, or am I doing a layout share? I can't remember. It's probably another Hot Springs one as well, so you can see me work in my Citrus Twist mini album. So lots of fun content to come on the lives, lots of recorded content that's going to come. So make sure you stay tuned. Thank you guys for joining me today. Have a fabulous day and a fabulous rest of your week. I'll see you here next Wednesday, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.